Hey developer, and welcome once again to another Code World video. Learning is easier if you have the tool that you want to learn in your hands. If you want to learn how to work with a server, you need one, right? Nowadays, renting a server is quite cheap, but what is better than a cheap server? That's a free server, right? If you know what you're doing, you can easily set up a virtual machine that runs Ubuntu server in your Windows computer. You can use this server to learn more about the Linux environment and related stuff locally. In this video, I'll explain you how to set up your own Ubuntu server 1804 in a virtual machine locally in Windows 10 and how to access it privately through the SSH protocol. To follow this tutorial, you will need Oracle VirtualBox. This program shall be already installed. You can download the installer from the official website of VirtualBox. You will need as well an Ubuntu 1804 server ISO file. You can download the ISO file from the operative system for the server version from the official website. Its file size is about 890 megabytes. It's worth to mention before starting that we're not exposing the virtual machine publicly. The idea is to have your own Ubuntu server working locally and accessible via the SSH protocol locally on your computer. Having said that, let's get started. As mentioned, you can download the ISO file of Ubuntu from the official website. We have the file already. Now open the VirtualBox program. Click on New and give a name to your server. Select the Linux type and the Ubuntu version that you downloaded. In our case, is of 64 bits. We have plenty of RAM, so we will assign 4 GB. You can adjust the size according to your available resources. For the hard disk of the virtual machine, we will create a new one with 30 GB. That will be more than enough for us, and we'll use a VirtualBox disk image. After configuring the basic hardware, we can now continue with the configuration of the network. Go to the settings of the virtual machine, go to network and select the adapter number 1 to be attached to the bridge adapter. This will provide the virtual machine with an internet connection. Then go to the storage tab and select the controller IDE to select the ISO file from which the server should initially boot. In this case, the Ubuntu server file. Click on OK and start the virtual machine. The server installation wizard will start and you will be able to select the language of the setup and choose if you decide to update the installer immediately. Select the keyboard distribution and configure the network connection if necessary. In our case, with a bridge adapter it will work without doing nothing. Configure the proxy if you need to. Then decide if you want to customize the storage layout. In our case, we will use the entire virtual disk as a storage with the default option and select Done. The destructive action warning appears because the setup will format the disk. As next, provide the server name and your user account. This account will be used to access the server. On the SSH setup, don't forget to check the installed Open SSH server option, or you won't be able to access the server later. We will ignore the featured server snaps as this will be a default installation. After that, the installation will start. Until this point, the installer has finished. However, it will install security updates automatically. You can skip this step if you want, but it's not recommended. Finally, when the installation finishes, you will be able to reboot your server with the given option. Once the server restarts, you will see the message that requires you to remove the installation media, which is basically the ISO file that we used to install the system. To do this, close your virtual machine, turning it off, go to the settings of the machine, then storage, and verify that the IDE device is empty. Then, start the server once again. The server will immediately be accessible through the terminal with SSH, so you can access it with the credentials that you created during the setup. You can test the terminal with basic commands as ls, update the apt repository, and that's it. Your own local Ubuntu 18.04 server configured in Windows. Whenever you need the server once again, just start the virtual machine and that's it. As first, start your Ubuntu server. Once you're logged in, type the ifconfig command that will display the status of the system's active interfaces. From the first interface you will be able to obtain the internet address, which in this case is 192.168.0.15. This will change when you configure a new virtual machine. Open PuTTY or your favorite SSH client and connect to the mentioned address. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and visit our codeworld.com for more awesome content about software development. Until next time.